This video is going to continue on with the working capital management and the second element of that, which is the control of current liabilities. So we've considered the control of current assets. Now we're going to consider the control of current liabilities, which relates to bank overdrafts, loans, short-term loans, and accounts payable or creditors to the business, those parties the business owes money to. So in the context of creditors or payables, so those people who the business owes money to, potentially the business can negotiate or renegotiate later due dates at a set price. And that's something the business might want to consider in the context of trying to manage or control its current liabilities. Effectively, the financial manager is looking to make those payments as late as possible to ensure that the money is sitting in the business's bank account as opposed to the party who it owes money to. So how might they manage their payables? That might be making sure that pay overdue accounts by the due date, so that you're not incurring financial penalties, because the last thing a business wants to do is to incur a penalty when they do have the money available that they're just trying to pay as late as possible. Secondly, they might try to hold back payments as long as possible. So like I said earlier, if payments due on a 30-day basis, pay on day 29. You're completely entitled to do that. Take advantage of any discounts. So if that business who you owe money to is offering a 10% discount if you pay within 14 days, look to take up that option to free up some capital so the business is paying a reduced amount for that credit item. And potentially negotiate the credit terms. Ask, can we have 60-day credit terms, or can we have 90-day credit terms, and see if you can negotiate a longer period to make those payables. In terms of loans, that's obviously borrowing from banks and financial institutions, and that creates a liability on the balance sheet that needs to be paid within 1 year and with interest associated with it. Potentially, the business might look to renegotiate terms if they are paying too high a rate of interest, or if the repayments are proving too burdensome for the business. But the business must ensure it pays those on the due date, because they could face financial penalties, and again, that's not something the business wants to face. Potentially alternative sources of finance might also be something the business could look at in terms of control of current liabilities, to see if there's a cheaper, easier, more effective way to access that capital. Building a positive relationship with the institutions who they're borrowing that money from is also important in the context of loans, to ensure that potentially down the track you can negotiate even better terms. With a bank overdraft, in terms of current liabilities, there are costs. There's a higher rate of interest. There might be account keeping fees, so a monthly fee, for example, on that overdraft. And the bank really should have a policy about how and when an overdraft is appropriate within that business, and also how long they're going to take to generally pay back an overdraft if they do take one out. Overdraft the business should attempt to pay that overdraft back as quickly as possible, because it does attract a higher rate of interest, and the business doesn't want to be paying any more interest than it really needs to. And really, it should just be used as a form of bridging finance. So, to bridge the gap, for example, between cash received and buying stock for the upcoming winter season, for example. So they're the main elements in terms of controlling current liabilities, and just considering from a business perspective, how can we effectively manage our payables or our creditors? How can we effectively manage those loans that we have and potentially reduce the costs associated with those loans? And also the same thing goes for overdrafts, and really utilising overdrafts to a minimum because of the high rate of interest that they attract, and also because that they can have other costs associated with them.